Hello and welcome. Welcome to today's exciting episode of Inspiration to Achieve, where I share with you inspiration to help you to turn your aspirations into transformation and inspire others. I provide you with insights, tips, and tools and strategies to help you to achieve your life and business goals, as well as thrive. So my name is Patience Ogunbona, and I am an executive transformational coach, as well as a corporate and business trainer, DISC expert, emotional intelligence expert, and an international inspirational speaker. So if your need today is someone who is introverted, because I'm also known as AKA the visionary introverted woman. So if you are an introverted woman who is looking to thrive and create increased impact, influence, and income, I'm your girl. If you're also someone, if you're a company, a business, an SME that is looking to achieve synergy in what I call the three P's, that's your people, performance, and processes, to achieve profitability and sustainability, that's me as well. I'm able to help you achieve that. So today, what are we going to be looking at? We are going to be talking about how to effectively recharge your energy. I know many of us are in lockdown and therefore we feel like we are recharging. But what does recharging mean? And today, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk to you about how to effectively recharge. I'm coming to you live today on LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as you will have this on YouTube as well. And guess what? Coming to you very soon would be my channel on radio. So to a radio near you, a radio station near you, you shall be hearing from me and getting inspiration from me as well. So today we want to dive in. However, before I dive in, I'd like to start by planting in your mind a question. I want you to attempt to answer this question as we go through this session today. And why do I want you to do that? Because I want you to gain benefit and I want you to tune into your subconscious because that's where the answers lie. We all have the power, we have the answer to draw within us that we're able to draw out and get empowerment. So I want you to be able to do that today. I'm just having a quick check to make sure that everything works as it should, and we shall be on our way today. So my question to you today starts with this. What does it mean to you to recharge your energy? What does it mean? And when I ask that question, I want you to dwell on it. And as it is our tradition on Inspiration to Achieve, I'm going to be sharing with you stories. Today is a story about myself. And I want to use this story to explain why I have come up with this topic, why I think that it's important for us to look at this topic. So let me take you back to 2020. Not many of you want to go there, but the truth is we need to look at our past to gain understanding of our present and to actually channel where we want to go for the future. And that's why it's important to look to our past. So I want to share with you how I started 2020. So basically, I started 2020, and I was one of those that said, 2020 is here, same old, same old. We just now have to go on speed. It's 2020, we have 2020 vision, and we just got to roll with it, right? So I started that, and I even did a webinar, a well-attended webinar called How to Make Great Progress in 2020. I haven't done that webinar. I knew definitely that there was something off. That even though I was spreading the message and saying, we've got to go for it this year, we've got to make it happen, you've got to take it and run with it, I personally felt like that same old attitude was not going to serve me very well. And the truth is, I felt very low in myself. And I also had what would I call it? I had a bit of what you call an identity crisis and a business identity crisis, not just a personal. Something didn't feel right for 2020. Something didn't fit. And I knew because I'm very intuitive, that 2020 had to be different. So, but I didn't know what or how. I was fortunate, very, very fortunate at the start of the pandemic, at the start in February, to be invited to go on a cruise with a lady who I met a couple of years and who I befriended, and she was going along with 49 other people on a cruise, strangers I had never met before. And so I decided, yes, and there are comments coming through from Facebook and welcome, Sally. Yes, I understand. And it was very important to develop yourself. So basically, I decided to go on this cruise, not knowing anybody but the celebrant. And I decided that it was an opportunity for me to take time off and really reflect. Of course, I had come from 2019, where the reason for my feeling very inadequate and very low was because all of 2019 I was struggling with ill health. I had been pumped full of medication, antibiotics, and I had just been limping along to get to. And obviously, not knowing what the pandemic had in place for us, I was not actually conscious of whether my immunity will hold and be able to sustain me. But I'm glad to say that the story is different now, and that's what I'm taking you on the journey. So I get on the ship, and obviously everybody is there to party. And I decided, actually, I'm away from everything, everyone. I'm on sea, I'm disappearing. So, what is this situation going to give me? As you well know, introverted people, we do get tired of peopling. We do get tired of, external stimulus that comes from, being around people. Not that we hate people, not that we don't want to be with people, but it's just the way it is, right? So I decided to make my excuses, although it was uncomfortable, to go away and spend some time with myself. And this is the first uh, insight that I have to say I needed to recharge. I recognized that I needed to recharge my energy, my life source. It seemed like it had been depleted. Energy is life source. That's what you've got to recognize. Energy is life source. And once it is depleted, whether whether through physical exertion or through spiritual emptiness or through soul sucking things, it's depleted. And our survival depends on our energy being recharged and revived and renewed. I knew then that this was an opportunity. So I took the opportunity and I would go off by myself. It was a roughly 7-day cruise. So I would go off by myself to my room, or I would go off to a deck where nobody knew me, and I would stand and I would look at the expanse of the ocean as we sailed on it. And being a very intuitive person, a lot of messages were coming through by just looking at the expanse of the ocean, representing the expanse of possibility and potential that for me was staying subdued and hidden, that needed to come to the surface. I was also fortunate to have carried a book along with me. Because when you suffer an identity crisis, you begin to doubt a lot of things, whether the things you have achieved, whether the things you're going to achieve, or even about yourself. You begin to doubt your capability. So I remember many years ago when I was struggling to find direction in life, my husband came across a book by an author known as John Otterberg, and it was called If You Want to Walk on Water, You Gotta Step Out of the Boat. And so, but this time I had a different book from him. The title of the book was Faith and Doubt. And the book tells stories about people who were trying to help others, but needed to take a pause and look at themselves and also help themselves. It tells stories about people who were struggling to have doubt exist as well as faith and operate on that basis in harmony and in alignment. And I felt like I was there. I needed to look closely and look deeply. So in so doing, And in so taking the time off to do that and stepping away, I was able to revive myself. So I've decided that this series is going to be in twofold. And why is it going to be in twofold? I was going to do everything today, but I think that it's important for me to do it separate so that the first series, which is today, gets you to understand the what and the why. And then next time, I would actually dive into the how to effectively recharge your energy. So basically, this big opportunity, I didn't know what was going to come. I didn't know, nature had its own idea, but we didn't know. We underestimated. We thought this will blow away, right? So I came back from the cruise and it was like, okay, yeah, this will blow away. And suddenly we were on lockdown. And as soon as we got on lockdown, I was glad that I had gone away on my own because now I had people, the space was now kind of gone, and the difference in environment would not be possible anymore. So, what is important to remember is that the saying that time waits for no one, and time is our most expensive commodity in life. And if I had lost the opportunity to take that time out, the time would never be returned to me and I wouldn't have had it again. So for me, this is a lesson. So many of you are looking at lockdown, and wanting to rush out of it. And I get it, it's exhausting. You're fed up. But again, I repeat that question. What does it mean to recharge? And are you recharged? Or are you just fed up and waiting for an end? Are you going to go out with a new life source and a revived life source, or with a depleted life source that has just focused on being locked down? I get it. Being locked down actually sucks the soul. Most of the time, the terminology lockdown even sucks and drains you. Why? Because it is a terminology that is used in prison where you are let out or with permission, let back in with permission, and everything you do, it sucks out your existence of freedom as a human being. And for me, whose main core value is freedom, that can be very challenging. But I can see the opportunity and the gift in being able to pause, in being able to slow down. So you might be thinking what recharge means to you. So let me give you the definition according to the Webster Dictionary. And it says a recharge is to charge again and is to restore anew. It is also to inspire and invigorate afresh and to renew. So if you're in a space where this is not happening in your life, are you going to go into lockdown with the same life source that is depleted? Or are you going to stop and not go full speed? Some of us are waiting, the doors will open and we'll just, it's more like escape, yay, out of prison, and you go full speed ahead. But the problem with going full speed ahead is you get an adrenaline rush, but you're doing the full speed ahead as well with anxiety. And sometimes it will be like you just got to do everything and you're toying with danger. But to speed up effectively in life sometimes requires you to slow down. It requires you to slow down. So again, another question, are you actually slowed down in lockdown, or are you actually agitated, impatient, running away from time that will never come again? You see, unlike us, nature knows how to slow things down. When nature gets fed up and nature is trying to survive, nature knows what to do. So the pandemic and the virus that we have has taught us about survival because we've been fighting it, and then it suddenly decides, I don't think I've done my work. I don't think the lessons are all sorted. So what am I going to do? I'm going to mutate. So it recharges itself. It revives and renews itself and gives us another challenge to fight. But within the challenges we are fighting for this disease comes an awareness, comes messages, comes lessons. Are we listening to take it on board? Are we in ourselves also focused on the very thing that this is sent to attack? Our immunity. Immunity can be health. but it can also be immune from the circumstances of life by finding stability and happiness in who you are, in what your soul desires and your spirit. Yesterday, I came across a terminology from one of my mentors, spiritual intelligence. We focus on IQ, we focus on EQ. How about SQ? And that was a real big aha moment for me to come across that word. So I want you to understand that recharging is about replenishment of your soul source, of your life source. And if this pandemic, no matter how long it takes, we do hope and pray it goes back. It goes away, it's done its job, it's fulfilled its assignment, and it can go away, and we're formidable in fighting it. But are you using it to recharge? Are you using it to get your life source topped up? Because a battery that is operating on half is not operating in its fullness. But also, I want you to remember that an effective recharge cannot happen if you're going about trying to top up something that's already topped up. If you plug your phone for a recharge and it's already full power, it's not going to get any more power. It's at full capacity. So what are you at full capacity with? That's the question I want to ask you. If that full capacity is an identity that you don't recognize, is a misaligned full capacity, you need to recharge so that you can bring in an aligned recharge into your life. You can bring in aligned energy into your life. You must also remember that when you're charging, you've got to find the right source to plug in to charge. You cannot plug into every source. So this requires some time you need to take to find what source do I need to plug in to recharge effectively. So that's what I want to encourage you. This goes for people, this goes for businesses. You need to change, you need to evolve. If we're going to go back to a situation where, we're going to open up the doors, do you want to go back to work or do you want to go forward to work? Go forward in work with a new energy, with new insights, with new understanding, not running to do the same old stuff that we used to do. That didn't work. That really, frankly, was broken in many, many ways. Are we going to be courageous to recharge, to renew, to inspire and invigorate afresh, as the definition says? So we also want to remember that you cannot solve a problem by the thinking that created it. So a recharge is about renewing your mind as well. It's not just renewing your body, it's renewing your mind. It's renewing the thoughts that created the challenges that you might have experienced in life up until now. I want you to have in your vocabulary, up until now, this was this. But from henceforth, it is going to be a different story. It is going to change and it is going to make a difference. I'm going to create a difference. And one thing you must realize is that no matter how uncontrollable life feels, no matter how life feels challenging at the moment, there are things we can't control, but there is a lot that you have to reveal to yourself that you can control. And once you find the controllables in your life, a recharge requires you to energize and to control that which is controllable in your life. Are you going to be willing to recharge and take responsibility for renewal, for making sure that life as you want it is created through your energy, through your resource that comes from within? And when we talk about energy, we're talking about flow, aren't we? We're talking about flow and we're talking about power. And so when you talk about recharging, you're talking about recharging your flow and your synergy and your alignment. We're also talking about recharging your power. If you have not been stepping into your power, into your potential, or you've been playing small, a recharge represents for you the need to play big, to tune into those desires that are buried. A slowdown gives you an opportunity to feel the pain, to feel the loss, and to move forward with a solution, with an opportunity. And I know that we've suffered a lot of losses as this has happened. When you take stock of your life, you will find there are those of us who unfortunately have suffered big losses that have marked and scarred our lives. But the wounds we can nurture to become points of touch to understand where we are going to be gaining our power source from. So I want to encourage you to do that. And so next week, I'll be talking more about the how. How did I get there? So I talked about the fact that I went on this journey. I had the opportunity to go in on a cruise, and I had the opportunity to really, it wasn't just go for it. I paused properly. I remember one of the days in the cruise where I got a call, oh, we are all downstairs on the deck having fun. I was like, have fun a lot. My room is my is my fun place for today. And the behaviors that I exhibited on that cruise were behaviors I wasn't exhibiting before, but they were also a revelation that I finally needed to start giving myself permission to show up authentically as who I am, without fear of the repercussion of rejection, of people feeling odd, things that had controlled my life in the past. They say the fear of man is a snare. And many of us are not living in the fullness of the life we want to live because we are ensnared by the fear of man. We're ensnared by what people say. The truth about life is you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. So what are you going to do? Are you going to make the choice that is relevant for you, that will allow you to exhibit your power and your potential? So I want to leave you with some wisdom. As is usual on Inspiration to Achieve, I always leave a last word and a nugget. How have you done with the question? What does it mean to you to reach out? How have you done with it? Let me leave you with a message from the author of As a Man Thinketh, James Allen. He says, suffering is always the effect of wrong thought in some direction. It is an indication that the individual is out of harmony with himself, with the law of his being. Suffering ceases for him who is pure. So recharging is about purifying, taking out the energy source that is not working for you and plugging in. For me, for this year, that was actually plugging back into God. So I started this year with trust. From the experience of last year, I needed to even go more into the recharge. And I plugged back into God. I plugged back into my potential. And I plugged back into knowing who is in my corner, that I can trust, that I can befriend, that I can connect with. Because as you well know, introverted women gain a lot of energy, or introverts generally, from connecting with people. Not just superficial relationships, but deep connections. So I'm focused on that for this year because those are the ways that I will reach out. I will tell you more about that. So if this made a difference, if this added value to you, I want you to feel free to share this with your friends. And also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you will never miss any of my series or any of my videos that I'll be sharing with you henceforth. And obviously, I will let you know when I'm next on a radio station near you. And, your nearest and dearest need to hear some of these things. I believe that it will add value to you. I believe that it will make a difference to your thinking. Even if all it means is that you take the question for yourself and find the answers from within. And the questions are, what does it mean to you to recharge your energy? And are you recharging your energy in this time, taking the opportunity that the pandemic is providing? So it leaves me to say, please feel free to connect with me, share with me, let me know what nuggets you are taking away, what questions you have, and connect with me on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and on Twitter. I'm on all, and on Instagram as well. You can connect with me. But in the meantime, I want to let you know that I'm rooting for your success and I'm wishing you well. Take care and God bless.